Yo, what's good guys? This is Nightwing2303 from WearTesters.com. Today we got the performance review on the PUMA Clyde Court Disrupt. So with that being said, let's go ahead, get right into it. Now the traction pattern on these guys is very simple and pays homage to their old PUMA Clyde suedes. But instead what they've done is kind of flipped or inverted the actual pattern. Now I've never actually played in a pair of the PUMA Clydes with the suede on it. Those nowadays are just pretty much lifestyle shoes. But this guy right here actually played a lot better than what it looks like. It doesn't have a lot of bite to it, but I very rarely slipped. It was only on the last day after, how long have I been playing in these? Like 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, something like that. I've been playing in these for quite a while, and it was only on the very last day that I started to have some sort of slipping, where I needed to periodically wipe the outsole and everything to get a little bit more of a tackier grip. I don't know if that was from the shoe or if it was from the court that I was playing on, because that particular court, these things have done really well on previously. But overall, I'm definitely satisfied and very impressed actually. I did not expect much of anything from this shoe, and I actually like them, believe it or not. Outdoors, the traction was decent, not anything crazy. I don't know how long this would last either. Each of the little nubs is pretty shallow, so I wouldn't recommend it wholeheartedly, like to go and use this as your new outdoor hoop shoe. But on the court that I was out there kind of like playing around with, it did really well. Now the cushion on these guys is very Kobe-esque, and what I mean by that is the cushion is actually within this carrier midsole. This area of the shoe feels interesting to say the least. When you have them in hand and when you first get them on foot, the whole thing kind of feels hard, firm, and a little bit clunky. But when you start running around in them, it actually doesn't feel bad. It feels very similar to a Kobe actually, one of the kinds with the drop-in midsole. So if you played in something like the Kobe 9 or the Kobe 11, all that kind of stuff, this feels very similar. The cushion itself is a mixture between Puma's energy beads and their Ignite foam. You can see that right here with this little Puma logo right there, and this is basically what's inside of this little shell right there. Now one thing to note is that it is encased, so it doesn't expand. However, you sit directly on top of it, much like you would one of the Lunarlon inserts for one of those drop-in midsole Kobe's. So the comfort is actually there. It's just not able to kind of like expand and things like that, like something like a Boost. You don't feel any feedback with each step that you take. However, what you do actually get is plenty of court feel, a lot of stability, and for whatever reason, this stuff actually does absorb a lot of the impact. It's an interesting cushion. It's not one that you're gonna feel. You're not gonna put these on and it's not gonna knock your socks off or anything like that. But if you play in them, you're actually gonna like it, as long as you like those attributes. If you like impact protection and you like court feel all together, then this is gonna be one of those rides that is gonna give that to you. Now the materials, it's probably the part that I'm most impressed with, mostly because Puma's been out of the game for like 20 years as far as basketball products are concerned. I know that they make some...
Do you see him?
Man, he's like right on the tripod.
And I don't want to move him while you're talking.
Yeah. No. Just leave him.
Until he rolls?
Just leave him. He ain't doing anything. I just wonder, did he move the camera while he laid onto it?
I don't know.
Now Puma has been making performance models overseas for sports like tennis and handball and stuff like that, really weird sports. No offense if you play handball, I'm not saying anything, that's cool, get your cardio on. But I was very impressed with the material itself, especially being that it is a knit. A lot of brands obviously have been like either really nailing it or they've been really failing at the knit thing. These guys right here, they pretty much nailed it, and they've done it slightly different than everybody else. If you need a direct comparison, the overall feeling is very similar to something like the KT3 from Anta and the Battle Knit 2.0 from the LeBron 16s. It's not identical, but it's definitely along those lines. It does not have a ton of glue or anything like that. It's a nice free-flowing knit. It moves well with your foot and all that stuff. No restriction or binding or any of that stuff. The lacing system is usually kind of like surrounded by TPU or fuse. And what Puma's actually done is kept things like as a knit. They just kind of stitched and reinforced those areas a lot, which I think is interesting, and I really like the way that it looks. It keeps it clean. It doesn't look plasticky or like things are glued onto it. So I really dig that they've done that. The collar and the tongue area is a traditional kind of stretchy knit, so it feels like a sock. Normally I don't like that because you get a lot of lace pressure when you tie your shoes tightly. However, inside here there's a ton of padding underneath that area. So it feels just like any other shoe when you're lacing it up, which I do enjoy. Now while the material's gotten a little bit dirty over its wear testing, it's not like damaged or anything. So this stuff is still in one piece and it's looking perfect. Now the fit of the shoe is not tricky, but it's definitely something that you either want to go true to size or down half a size. These guys are my true size and they work fairly well. There are some times when I feel like I shift in the forefoot just a tad. and it is on those times that I wish that these were a half a size smaller. However, if I did go down that half a size, I'd literally have no wiggle room because my toes are already at the edge, so I'd basically be pressing up against this little cup sole right here. This area is not super hard, so I wouldn't mind that in lieu of having a little bit better containment overall. If you have a normal or narrow foot and you want the best fit that you can get, like the most snug and tight fit, 1-to-1 if you will, then I would recommend going down half a size. Yeah.
You want to be mummified by your shoe?
If you want your toes to do this.
Are you ever worried about getting like runner toes?
I don't care. My feet are nasty anyways, who cares? Have you seen the bottoms of them?
I have seen them.
Yeah, they look like,
I'm just saying,
they look like a decaying body.
How close your toes are.
And they're already like that. I'm surprised I don't have, what, turf toe or runner's toe, whatever it's called. My nails must be strong with the force. Yes, I said that. Moving on. Now the overall lockdown is where I feel that it would be greatly improved with a half a size down. Not that the lockdown was bad or anything, but again, those times when I felt shifting within that forefoot area, that's when I would really have liked a slightly more snug fit. Am I like slurring my words? Because like it feels like it.
It's like all the words are the like same letter starting in your sentence.
Yeah, so I feel like I'm like... Now what I would need to do with these guys periodically is readjust the laces, especially right here in the forefoot. For whatever reason, there is kind of like loosen up over time. The rear section though, these two little ones and then this back one, man, they really draw your heel into the back of the footbed, which I love. And again, there's a ton of padding under here, so I'm really able to yank those laces as tight as I can, and it's still not giving me any pressure on top of my foot, which I enjoy. The support of the shoe is very solid. The first thing that you have is a nice flat, wide, stable base, which I love. You sit on top of this cup sole, and then you also sit within it. So that area that you see lips up over the upper, you're actually sitting right in there. So even when there was some of that shifting over the footbed and everything, you were still contained in that section. That's pretty much what saved that whole like forefoot like sloppiness at times. And then this area right here does act like an outrigger. It's just wide enough to be that good. The overall fit was solid. Again, I think it would have been a little bit better for me personally had I gone down half a size, but the way that it fits right now, there's no issues with support and stability. And then in the rear right there, you do have a TPU heel counter, which worked perfectly. But that pretty much takes care of it for these guys right here. I do recommend them if you wanted to give them a try. I think the retail price is going to be at $120. If you're looking for something different, you're not looking for something, you know, that's just normal. I don't know what I'm trying to say.
If you're going outside the regular brand box.
So that pretty much takes care of it. So that pretty much takes care of it. You asshole. So that pretty much takes care of it for these guys right here. If you are looking for something that's different, these guys right here are not gonna fail you. I was definitely impressed with them, especially with how they look. They don't look like a traditional hoop shoe, and I think that's the point. Overall, this was a super fun shoe to play in. The cushion was interesting to say the least. It was not what I was expecting. It's definitely not how it looks. So if you've tried these guys out yourself, please let us know down below in the comment section what you think about them. Thank you so much for watching. Thanks for all your support, and until next time guys, have a good one.